I think the younger you are as a woman in this day and age, marriage is not prioritized. It's not a priority for this age group. However, just based on from what I was reading, what they prioritize is along the lines of their careers and their individuality, things that they're trying to figure out and do, and then it becomes a priority in their 30s. And I think that's what the transition has become. So it's not that women don't want to get married, they just don't want to get married early.
Okay,
I wholeheartedly disagree with the two ladies that just spoke. I think the majority of women absolutely want to get married. I think in younger years, because of the lack of strong father presences, that women placate to the idea of the women that men chase and want to sleep with before they realize that those are not the women that men want to marry.
I agree.
Once they reach their older ages, they realize, because again, there's not a father to guide them, they realize that the woman that they've been is not the woman that men want to marry, and instead the woman that they just want to play with instead.
I agree with that.
And I have a quick follow up, real quick. And I'll end it on this. Then why the hell do men get so much fucking pushback when we say things like you control access to sex, have a man vet your potential mate, don't sleep with anybody until you are ready to get married?
I know the answer to that, AP. It's because they've made too many mistakes already.
No, I don't think that's it. Go.
Well, I was trying to get.
Well, he was. Are you a woman?
I was going to ask the ladies.
But are you okay?
She's okay.
Mike was a woman. No, go ahead, Mike. I apologize. Go ahead and let Mike finish his sentence, and then we'll let you.
AP, I'm sorry. Were you done?
Yeah, I was. It was just a question to the ladies. Trigger Mike.
No, I was trying to respond to Inaz or follow up on Inaz's point. You said that the women do want to get married young. They absolutely do. And I still believe that. And remember, I told you, I just said women don't know what they want. And now I'm doing this thing after having thousands of conversations and hours of conversations with people. I've known this for a long time. All right, if you take a moment and pause, you realize what they're doing is actually you see this, unfortunately, in the psych hospital a lot. I spent many years as a mental health tech when I was getting my master's. And what you'll see a lot is the thing that people say they don't want is actually, what is it called? An avoidance technique, because it's actually what they do want. The reason they talk down on marriage, the reason why they say, no, I don't need a man and all this, is because they actually realize they do need one. Right. So in to take off the pain of not making yourself the person needed that you need to be to acquire one, you now have to live a life as if you don't have necessity for it. That's what I think 99% of them are.
Let Inaz go.
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Throw her off from what she was trying to say.
Go ahead, Inaz.
She's in the middle.
No, you're fine. So here's the thing, right? To some degree, Trigger Mike, I do understand what you're saying, but I don't think it's out of willingness. I think it's more so out of necessity, right? Because you're not able to attain the thing that you truly desire, out of survival mechanisms, you have to fulfill that role for yourself.
For sure.
Right? I don't think women want to be this strong, Black, independent woman. Right. I think the majority of women, regardless of race, do desire that, quote unquote, soft life. Maybe not necessarily the luxury life where you literally do nothing, but they do desire a life where they feel cared for, right, by a man. But if you've grown up in trauma where you've been raised by a single mother who's done it all, who's taught you all of these things, and your interactions with men are continuously negative, I think that it builds this wall, right? Instead of a boundary, it becomes a wall of protectiveness, right? And I think that the desire from those women is a man who's masculine enough that overcompensates for that wall. That being said, like, I think like this idea of like these women that are out here masquerading as like being men, or out here pretending to be you know, independent to a degree that like isn't actually feasible, right? Like no human being can actually genuinely be independent. You need somebody to make your clothes, you need somebody to like produce some amount of food, you need some, like, independence doesn't actually exist outside of like a vacuum. And I think like this idea that like we push this narrative on women.
No, she don't change the subject.
I'm not.
No, I'm not changing the
Not
subject.
you. I'm talking about Miss Megan. She wants to go next. I just don't want her to change the subject. Go ahead.
No problem. So like I think that like it's not just the idea of having like a lack of men to like be able to vet. I think that like women do genuinely know what they want. I think they're ill-equipped to actually receive what it is they want. It's like this idea of like wanting this job that you want to go for, but you need a certain level of like mentorship to actually qualify for it, to understand like how to qualify for it. I think that's really where things are lacking. Like this idea that like women don't know what they want. Women know what they want from a very young age because the majority of women are bred to know, like, to be a wife. Whether it's Barbie and playing house, whether it's like, you know, the games that you play with your girlfriends, or like, you know, all of this stuff. From like a very young age, women are taught to desire marriage. But I think like somewhere along the lines, through like experiences in real life with people who have trauma, with their own trauma in itself, with like the stigma around therapy, people like develop like this hard shell where they have to alter their actual desires, right? And I think that's really where like the confusion kind of comes in, of women don't really know what they want. Women know exactly what they want. Women don't feel comfortable vocalizing what is that they want because, one, it's either demonized, or two, they themselves don't believe that it's actually attainable. And I think like if we can get past that, if we can like understand that like women are human beings too, that really do know what it is that they want and are made to feel comfortable vocalizing it, the same way that men are stigmatized like with what they want and like their ability to vocalize it. If we could just like even the playing field and everybody can just be genuinely honest about who they are as human beings, I think it would really change the way everything goes.
I got a question.
No,
wait,
no.
Each one of y'all tell me what you want to eat for dinner.
Marcus, wait. So what I was gonna say is I would agree with Inaz about being married younger, but the trend doesn't show that. And what I mean is not just on a micro level, not just here. We're speaking like maybe here in the US and the United States, but the trend is international. And so even in countries where you have a society where marriage is prioritized and marriage is, you know, seen as something that you're supposed to do, even within those societies, those women are choosing to delay marriage. It's not that they don't have access to marriage, because the society supports the ideal of marriage and is an expectation for them to get married. But that trend is international, where women are delaying marriage to later ages. And it says that it's because of like I was saying, they want to prioritize things that they want to do, like career or something else.